Welcome to the Insomnia Project. Relax, lay back, listen, as we have a conversation about the mundane. One thing that we strive for is that our conversation will be less than fascinating so that you can feel free to drift off or relax and listen. Thank you for joining us. We hope you will listen and sleep. I'm your host, Marco Timpano.
And I'm your co-host, Nidhi Khanna.
Nidhi, I want to talk to you about a store I happened to walk into in London, Ontario last week.
Oh, wow.
So I happened to be at the Masonville Mall in London, Ontario, and I walked into this store called Saje. And I walked in because I had a little bit of a headache. And as you know, Nidhi, I am prone to migraines and headaches. So I walked into this store, and unlike so many stores, like soap and bath bomb stores or stores that sell body creams and candles, I wasn't assaulted by scents. Rather, the scent that was in that store was very pleasant, and I can describe it as mild. And so I ended up buying a nebulizer.
Nebulizer?
Which I have on right now. And I said to you, I have this nebulizer. Nidhi, do you mind if I put it on? And you said exactly what you said a moment ago.
And so it's funny, Marco, because when you use the word nebulizer for the first time, my head went to Star Trek or Stargate or one of those type of TV shows. Because it sounds very science fiction, but it's actually, I'm going to try and describe it here. It's a contraption that almost looks like a mini humidifier.
Right, I got the small one for traveling, so that's a travel size one, but they come in different sizes, but yes, it's a smaller one, like a humidifier.
And so I see that you have a bottle of water turned upside down that is used to, I guess, pour water into this contraption that then makes it steam, and I believe you put a little bit of sage.
This actually was lavender. So what I did was, this is a travel nebulizer that was purchased for me this Christmas. And what I did was, when I walked in the store, I noticed that they had all their nebulizers. And so I asked them about the various scents. So a nebulizer, basically, unlike a humidifier, that, and you can hear it bubbling there, unlike the humidifier, which makes hot steam come out, and you could put whatever sort of scent you want with a humidifier. A lot of people will use like a Vicks vapor sort of thing with their humidifier when you're sick. A nebulizer causes a fine spray of water, which you can inhale, and if you put your hand over the mist that's coming out, you can see it's actually cool not hot. And so I put in a couple of drops of pure lavender into the water, and it is being distributed through the nebulizer into the air, as well as this cool mist, not only giving the air more water in the air, I don't know what you'd call that, but allowing that scent in the air that you could inhale.
And I'm looking, Marco, on the stock for this store Sage that you went to. I'm just looking at it online, and they have all sorts of nebulizers of different shapes and sizes, and they look very modern, almost like you wouldn't know it was a nebulizer.
Right. You could just have it somewhere in your room.
Exactly. Which is very different from the one that we have here. And I think we'll take a photo of this.
Sure, yeah, of course. And what's nice about this nebulizer, or the reason I have this, is, you know, Nidhi, when you go into a hotel room,
yes,
and you go from hotel room to hotel room to hotel rooms, and they have a odd sort of scent to them, or they never feel homey.
A little musty.
Or they're very dry.
Yes.
So you wake up with dry eyes, or your nasal cavity feels very dry. Well, the purpose of this was to have it in your hotel room, and what it does, you can feel that the air is lightly scented with, in this case, lavender, which is a relaxing scent and allows you to sort of fall asleep. So I put this in the hotel room. I let it go. When I come back, after I've unpacked, it doesn't have that musty or dry feel of the room. It feels a lot more calm, relaxing, and homey.
And how long can this one travel nebulizer last in terms of the water capacity?
You know, it's really interesting. So I have a 500 milliliter water bottle that I put on this particular nebulizer, and I've turned it to full blast. But you can see, Nidhi, here, if I crank it down, it slows it down.
Yes.
But this 500 milliliter bottle at full tilt will last 5 hours.
Oh, wow.
Because I've put it on, I've gone out, I've come back after a day of sightseeing or work, and it's towards the bottom, and I just refill it and let it go. And, you know, it works really nicely. And what's nice about a nebulizer or in the hotel room versus a candle is that a candle, A, you shouldn't leave unattended.
Of course.
This you can. And B, some hotel rooms, if you light a match in your hotel room, they will charge you the smoking fee that if you smoke in a hotel room, which could be $300 to $700 depending on where you are. So you want to be careful of that, of using candles in a hotel room. But with this contraption, that's not the case. But what was great about that particular store, Sage, that I went into is, as I mentioned, I ended up going in with a headache and leaving with a bunch of products. But and it's so funny, has that ever happened to you where you walk into a store going in on a whim and you walk out having spent much more than you would have expected?
Absolutely. That happens to me. And sometimes, you know, you get a bit of buyer's remorse, but you asked me to test a couple of the products that you bought from there, and I have to be honest, at first I was a little skeptical because I've been down this path of trying these type of products before to know real results. However, whatever it is that you gave me to help with the headache that I was having is phenomenal.
Well, I ended up buying this little kit called a pocket pharmacy.
Okay.
Because if you purchased a certain amount of product, I think it was $30, you could get this for half price. So I was like, I need a scent for my nebulizer. I ended up buying some soap, because that's another thing I like to do when I'm in a hotel room for a week or more. I'll buy my own personal soap.
Yes.
Which is more of a bar soap than the little free bars that they give you in the hotel room, and sometimes
they make your skin very dry.
Right, so I purchased, because I love the smell of orange, it's a very invigorating smell.
Yes.
I purchased some sort of orange ginger soap.
Oh, lovely.
So I purchased that, I purchased the lavender, and then because I made it to the amount that you could get, I got this pocket pharmacy, which has 4 different, I'm just going to open it up here. 5 different, I don't know what you would call it, Nidhi, like little roll-on vials of roll-on combination of scents.
So I see you have, now, and it's in this beautiful case.
You'd think they were a sponsor. You would think that this company was a sponsor of our show, the way we're talking about it. It's just that I discovered it, and it's been working out really well for me. And I just was starting to talk to you, and you're like, hang on. You're talking about a nebulizer. Put it on. Let's record a podcast. Yes. And so that's what we're doing. And so Nidhi was saying she had a headache. So I took one of these vials, and it's called Halo, and its essence is peppermint. And I said, rub this around your head. And I encourage you to rub it on your back because you said your back was sore.
Yes, I think I might do that.
Yeah. And a few minutes later, you can feel the sort of tingling effect of the peppermint. And it sort of, for me, eases the tension of my headache. Now, what are you experiencing with your headache?
So I am definitely feeling the coolness and the tingling. Now, Marco, we should let people know that before I put it on, you did warn me and say you only need a dab of this stuff. And I went ahead and slopped it on myself.
Well, because I was like, Nidhi, it's not like an underarm deodorant with a roll-on that you really have to go back and forth. It's just... do it lightly. I don't know if it's going to be too intense or it's not going to be to your liking, but Nidhi, full force, like, you know.
As usual, I just disregarded
any sort of warning,
yeah.
And she just went for it, and you got to respect that. And I'm glad that it's working out for you.
It is. And now I'm going to try, I think, the tension-reducing remedy, the stress release.
Okay, perfect.
Because that smells really well.
Excellent.
That's nice. So
there you go. So she's going to try that. Not on your... Oh, I thought you were going to put it on.
No.
Okay, great.
No, don't worry.
Okay.
I'm not going to ruin your roll-on.
No,
but
I
I
thought-
by the end of the podcast, I think we'll check in again.
Sure.
And see how I'm doing with my stress relief.
Taste the Mediterranean at Whole Foods Market with a vibrant selection that captures the flavors of the region. Shop coastal favorites like responsibly farmed whole bronzini and jumbo white shrimp, and pair them with specialty pastas, robust olive oils, and aromatic sauces directly sourced from the Mediterranean. Want a fast and easy dinner? Grab refreshing Greek salads and tortellini from the prepared foods department. Taste the Mediterranean now at Whole Foods Market.
With VerboCare, help is always ready, before, during, and after your stay. We've planned for the plot twists, so support is always available. Because a great trip starts with peace of mind.
Open the door to spring. Explore vibrant scents inspired by places you love, designed to refresh your home and how it feels every day. Follow your nose. Let your space feel lighter. Discover the spring collection at pura.com.
Is there a scent, Nidhi, that you particularly like or dislike? So, for example, okay.
I just did it again, did I
Yeah,
not?
you did. You rolled on it. Hey, listen, if you like more of an intense experience, you can really roll it on like that. But, like, for example, I love the smell of sandalwood. Like I said, orange, lavender. These are scents I like. Scents like gardenia, jasmine are too intense, too floral for me. Tobacco, I don't like the smell of tobacco.
No.
Is there any scent that you are drawn to?
I love the scent of neroli. It's a...
sorry, what?
Neroli oil.
Neroli,
It's
yeah.
I guess a Moroccan or African flower. And
Isn't it a fruit as well? Is it the flower?
Oh, it could be.
Oh,
It could be.
I'll find out while you're
I
telling
know
us
it
about it.
only because I have a Moroccan friend, and she introduced me to that scent, along with the scent of argan oil. Sort of, it was infused together.
It's funny. The neroli is the scent that they derive is from the blossom of a bitter, orange tree. So it's interesting because I love the smell of orange. So I'm gonna have to look into this neroli because it's supposed to be a sweet and honeyed and somewhat metallic and a green spicy notes to it.
Yep, it's actually quite lovely.
Okay, I'm gonna now tell you to relax, Nidhi, because she's taking all of the little roll-ons and she's putting them. Did you just put on your back now?
Yes.
Okay, you're going a little bit crazy. I get that you're enjoying it, but let's just. I don't want you to overwhelm yourself just because you're having a good experience with it. But I love certain scents, and I do like to wear some cologne.
Okay.
And you know, it's interesting. I like to wear different colognes for different seasons. I know some men and women like to wear different
standard.
Or they like to wear different colognes for different days of the week.
Sure.
Or they'll wear one
occasions.
cologne that's their signature cologne. I like a spring cologne that has grassy and notes to it, grassy and say citrusy notes to them. And in the fall, I like to wear a cologne that has more of a sandalwood, leathery kind of scent to it. Yeah.
I actually go by sort of a daytime perfume versus a nighttime perfume.
Oh.
So I like to have more brighter, fresher, florally scents during the day. However, if I'm going out for the evening, I will have something that's a little bit more spicier, a little bit, I guess spicy would actually be the correct terminology. Something bolder, really.
Reflective of the night that you may have, yeah.
Exactly. So,
what about toothpaste? Is there a toothpaste flavor you like or dislike, and same with mouthwash?
Toothpaste, I like it to be mint or peppermint, similar to mouthwash.
Okay.
I like it to be, I like it when my mouthwash is strong and fierce. I know not many people like it that way, but I do. I don't enjoy the baking soda type toothpaste.
Right, that's very popular though.
Yes.
Yeah. There's even, I think, a sort of mouthwash that uses baking soda as well. I love cinnamon. I love cinnamon gum.
Of course.
I like cinnamon toothpaste, or I like a plain mint. Like just a mint that's not too strong.
Now, did you say cinnamon toothpaste?
Yeah, I think have you never had cinnamon toothpaste?
I have not.
I don't have any upstairs for you to try, because it seems like the last couple of podcasts I've just sort of run into the cupboards and whatnot and brought you. I think we had, I had you taste avocado oil last time.
And then we also raided Amanda's closet for some blue topaz.
That's right.
At one
so,
point.
So I don't have cinnamon toothpaste, but there, for example, do you know that toothpaste that has a white, green, and red swirl in it? Yeah, so that particular toothpaste would have cinnamon, mint, and peppermint.
That makes
I think.
sense.
Yeah, so.
I like that one.
Mm-hmm.
There's also a toothpaste that you get at an Indian grocery store, a South Asian grocery store, or obviously in those countries themselves, but it's called neem toothpaste.
Oh yes, neem. Yeah.
Do you know what that is?
I've seen it. Yeah. NEEM. Correct. Yeah.
You got it. So it's a plant, I want to say.
Okay.
Maybe we need to look that up because I don't want to say the wrong thing with regards to the neem plant. But it has a lot of medicinal properties to it, and it's put into toothpaste to help with, I think, teeth that are particularly sensitive.
It's from a tree in the mahogany family. Meliaceae, I think is the way you say it. And so it's native to India, and so that's why you would find it in products from India, I guess. And I'm going to have to buy myself some. Does it have a strong flavor?
It does.
Okay.
It's very minty, but not pepperminty.
Okay.
So I think peppermint is the flavor that we're used to in a North American context when we think of mint. This is more on the for lack of a better word, I guess, bitter side of mint. It's not even really minty. I don't know how to describe it correctly. It's something that I think you just need to taste in order to understand, but it is a bit more bitter.
Well, then you're gonna have to get me a neem toothpaste, and I'm going to try it, and then I will let our listeners know what that feels like. For me, anyway, supposedly it is effective in reducing plaque and gingival inflammation.
Yes.
And I am very proud to say, Nidhi, that this year, for my New Year's resolution, because I've never been great at A, making New Year's resolutions, and B, sticking to New Year's resolutions.
Fair enough.
And I think because there's so much pressure to come up with a great or stoic resolution that you can then say, I've decided to do this and better myself and better the world. And a lot of pressure, and I decided, rather than say, I'm not going to have a New Year's resolution, I'm going to do something that's simple, that's good for me, and that I should be doing. And so I decided my New Year's resolution this year was to floss every day. And so far, I have to say, I've been sticking to this New Year's resolution. And as we come to, the end of the year, I will let you know if I've stuck to it every day. Thus far, I have. And I know it's not a big thing to floss every day, but for me, because sometimes you might I'll just brush, I'm not going to floss today. Or you always go to the dentist and they're always like, do you floss? Do you floss every day? Do you know how to floss? Shall I floss? And it's like, I get it. We're supposed to be flossing every day. And so I have been, and I'm curious to see if speaking of gingivitis, if my hygienist will notice that I have been flossing. I'm not going to say anything. When she asks, do you floss? I'm going to say, you tell me. And have him or her let me know if they can notice a difference. Or is it just something they tell us to sell? Dental floss.
So I floss every day, Marco. And I actually used to hate flossing because I don't like the actual dental floss strands. However...
Okay. I like where this is going.
I found they have those almost like flosser picks.
Yes, they're kind of like
a small thread of floss on it that you hold the pick and then you floss that way. Mm-hmm. That's what I use to floss. And it's a game changer for me. It's a game changer.
So that has made the difference, right? I think the end that you hold,
yes.
So the handle of that little instrument has a little sharp point, so you could use it like a toothpick, if I'm not mistaken.
Absolutely.
Nidhi, I am very particular with my dental floss as well. I prefer a flat floss. So you know how the strings, you could have one that's very much like string, and then you can have some that are kind of like a ribbon. I prefer my dental floss to be a ribbon mint flavored floss.
Ah, yes.
And it's funny because you were mentioning neem from India. Yeah. I have toothpicks from India that are cinnamon. They taste like cinnamon, and it's really...
Oh, wow. Well, look at that.
Really quite... It's interesting. We started the podcast talking about scents and how many items that we use daily that are scented, like toothpaste, dental floss, toothpicks, anything else that comes to mind that is scented that isn't necessarily, cologne that's meant to be scented.
And not a candle or anything like that. Ooh, that's a great question. Even things that are flavored, though. Mm-hmm. Whether it's like your cough syrup or whether it's...
You know what? I don't know if we mentioned this on the show, but I'll mention it again, Nidhi. Mm-hmm. When I make coffee, I like to put a little cinnamon in the grounds.
Oh, lovely.
So it flavors the coffee ever so slightly with cinnamon. I know some people will add salt to their coffee grounds to sort of take away the bitterness, but we discovered this when we went to a restaurant that we like to go to for brunch, and they add cinnamon to their coffee, and we were like,
why are we not doing this?
What
on
is
a daily
this
basis?
Delicious coffee? And then they said we add cinnamon to the ground. So I would invite our listeners to add cinnamon to their coffee grounds when they brew their coffee, and to tweet us their experience at Listen and Sleep.
And Marco, there's a restaurant that you have worked at that has ginger in their coffee as well.
Oh, yeah, like yeah, that's right. It's a ginger syrup that they add to their cappuccinos, and what they'll do is they'll add the ginger syrup to the coffee, whether it be an espresso or a latte, and then they'll put grated cinnamon on top, and
it's just amazing.
There's a big difference, Nidhi. I don't know if you could attest to this, because I know you've mentioned it, to cinnamon that's been pre-ground, and putting that on your coffee versus one that you take it's like a little rasp, like a food rasp, I guess, or like a mini grate, and you grate from a cinnamon stick. You've noticed the difference of that, right?
Yes, same thing with ginger, because ground ginger versus ginger that you would grate, fresh ginger, has a completely different zing to it.
Sure.
Really.
Love ginger. Do you know that you can peel a ginger, what do you call it? Ginger root with a spoon. If you use a spoon, it's the perfect device to peel it clean if you don't want that beigey kind of skin on it for whatever purposes you might be using.
Marco, I did not know that, but that's a wonderful tip. And on that note, I'd like to thank everyone for joining us today on our episode about all sorts of sage-like products.
Before we go, you said you were going to let us know how that pain reliever is working.
And I have to say, it's working very well.
Okay.
Stress release.
Oh, stress release,
is beautiful. And the peppermint that I put on my back is now quite nice, although quite cool.
Now I know what to get you for a special occasion.
There you go.
Well, we hope you enjoyed this episode, and as always, we broadcast from Toronto, and the Insomnia Project is produced by Drumcast Productions.
Until the next time, we hope that you listen and sleep.